DawnDares2Dream, I like to inspire and motivate adults to dream again. Because as we go through life and take on our different roles and responsibilities, we tend to put our dreams on the back burner. And my goal here at DawnDares2Dream is to help you pick those dreams back up and to pursue them again. Now, I want you to understand, I started DawnDares2Dream because I wanted to relay my message and my heart and my feelings across to whomever would listen. It can be difficult getting your closest family and friends to understand the way that you believe and when you try to express it and share it. So this was like my backdoor way into letting everybody know. Now, I may have lost some viewers as a result of that because they don't agree, and that's fine. I am definitely a proponent of everyone having their own thoughts, their own process, their own mindset that works for them. Your religion works for you, you keep that. No one's telling you to get rid of that. Whatever it is that works for you, continue to use it. I'm just saying that sprinkle some of this other information on it, this personal development information that I'm providing you, and see where your life takes you and how you take off personally. Always remember, we are in control of how we see our environment. I don't care what everyone says it looks like or everyone says it is. We are in control of how we choose to perceive the environment. Hey dreamers, welcome back. And welcome to all the new dreamers who stopped by DawnDares2Dream today to see what we're all about. We are on the last week, the last 3 episodes of You Have the Power to Change Your Life. And today I'm going to focus on right around the time that I had my son. I was with my son's dad. We were a couple for about 2 years. We decided to have a child. We had my son up until the time our relationship ended. That's what this video will be about. But I will also talk about the pivotal choices that I made throughout our relationship that got me to where I am today. Because remember, we have the power to change our lives, and that's through the choices that we make in life. If you have not subscribed to my channel, click on that red rectangular button down there that says subscribe. That way you'll be subscribed to my channel. And then I need you to ring that gray bell, ding dong, so that you'll be alerted to all the new content that I place up here to YouTube. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So in the last video, I talked a lot about decisions that I made with my son's dad and how I got to where I was. But I did not really detail the things that kind of transpired in our relationship that allowed me to take shape into who I am today. Now, when I met him, he had a whole family plan already. And I would think that any good man who wants to have a family and who wants to do well in business and do well in life, they have a plan. So he was a very good planner. To this day, he's a great planner. He isn't great with executing. That would be my cup of tea. But he is great with planning. So in my mind, I thought we were a really good couple because he would plan and I would execute. So when I realized what I was doing and how much I was doing, things kind of changed. But let me back it up to when we first met. When we first met, he was a busy bee. I think he was attempting to be a real estate agent. And he had decided that he needed to study for another certification. Now, he had like, I'm going to say 1 million IT certifications because that was his thing. Once he learned in IT, the more certifications you have, the more money you can make. He went balls to wall and was just going and going and going and going. And he did have a college degree. And so you top a college degree with a lot of certifications and with experience in IT, you can go places. So he knew this. And so he was studying for a security certification. And this would be his second. He had one already and didn't even understand what it really meant because he got it before cybersecurity was known as cybersecurity as you know it today. Before people were talking about phishing and all that stuff. He had kind of gotten a cert just because he thought it was the new hot cert to get. So he had one certification, so he had gotten a job and he was working, but he was also studying towards another cert. And that cert was the one that we worked on actually together. And I do like this because I was trying to recall if I'm putting the things in the proper time, but I think I am. So anyway, he has this plan, and his plan is to basically flip houses, number one, And the first house that he actually didn't want to flip, he wanted to keep and rent out, was a family member's home that he was fixing up. I think he's finally finished it. I'm not quite sure. So he had that on his agenda. He also wanted to go back to school. He wanted to get his doctorate in business, and he wanted to be a college professor. And so he had a lot of different things on his plate. And here comes me, who I had pretty much a clean slate. He had no children, I had no children, and I was an open book, clean slate, and kind of needed direction in life because I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know where my success was going to come from. And when I met him, I was actually working as an admin at a company here in Texas. So he got me on a track of studying for the certs, like I told you. But while I'm doing all of this, I'm helping him find contractors to fix the house that his family member has. I am helping him to study, okay, to take his GRE, and then study to take his GMAT. Both of them, I think, I've helped him study for, so that he can be prepared to take the test, because he's not a big test taker, and there's a lot of math involved. And so when he realized, remember, he found, I showed him my transcript, and he realized all the math I had taken. He figured I could be of assistance to him, because this was his family business plan that he had in his mind. And remember, I'm an open slate. So I just jumped right in there, and I'm helping him. I'm helping him with all his endeavors. And then I realized that he was a little busybody, you know? And I know that I'm bipolar at this point, remember? So I know I don't need a lot of stress in my life. So I didn't know if I needed a real busybody for a mate. So I basically told him right off in the first 6 months of us dating that I didn't think this was going to work. Because I said to him, you are busy. And as busy as he was, I knew he was going to stay busy. It wasn't like this was busy for a time. And he told me, no, I'm not going to be busy like this all the time. I just have to get these few things accomplished, and then I can just relax. That wasn't the truth. He's still a busybody till this day. So my intuition was correct. So I stayed with him, and I ended up staying with him for 5 years. But at year 2, I felt like we had been through so many ups and downs. Because remember, I'm not taking my meds at 1 year of our relationship. I think the first year I'm not taking my meds, maybe. And even when I started taking my meds, things were still pretty stressful in the household for me. So my reaction to things was kind of over the top, I'm going to say, most of the time. So we had been through a lot. And I said, okay, well, we're still here. He's still with me, and he still loves me. Then maybe we should go ahead and have a child. I didn't think we should get married, because I wasn't sure I wanted to be married at this point. But I said we could have a child together. I felt like he would be a responsible dad. And so to fast forward, I stopped taking my birth control pills. And literally, I got pregnant within 2 to 3 months. I thought it would take a whole year to get pregnant, but it didn't. And so I had a whole child growing inside me, and I'm still helping him do everything. And by this time, I have done my internship, and I am working in IT as well. And I'm pregnant, and then the baby comes. And with all of this, I wasn't the great partner that I used to be, because I was a new mom, and I did not understand how to juggle all the many pieces that he had floating in the air, you know, with taking care of my son. So I stopped all the many pieces with him, and I took care of my son. And I didn't pull all the pieces away at once, but I pulled them away, you know, take this away, take that away, take this away, take that away. And it wasn't like it was a mystery that I was taking anything away. I told him, you know, I had a discussion and said, I can't do this anymore. Then it was like, I can't do that anymore, because I had grown in those 2 years. Now we're going on almost 3. I had grown and realized that I had plans and thoughts of how I wanted my life to be, and they didn't necessarily align with what he wanted. And that is what led to us ultimately not being together. And that is why I said in the last episode, remember what I said? That you and your partner need to have the same belief system. We weren't really on the same page with what our beliefs. We weren't on the same page with our direction in life. So that's an important piece of a relationship. Now, some great things did come out of being with him, because again, he decided that I should work in IT, and he was going to help me get there, because he saw a place for me in his family business plan. The place for me in his plan was to be gainfully employed while he went to school to get his doctorate in business, and I could take care of the bills in the household because he had now taught me so much that I'm working in IT and I'm working on my own, and I'm making pretty decent income, you know? So that was his plan. And granted, he had his own motive for how he wanted to use me in his life, which I have no issue with. But then I grew to have my own plan, and I began to make my own choices. That first choice was to pay more attention at my job and to understand what the total job needed, and not just what I thought or the direction, that he was giving me that people needed. I paid attention, and I realized that my knack for understanding people's needs and desires, I could use them at my job while working in IT. And I did that. And I was able to maintain, I think, that particular first job that I had that was an intern at first and turned into a full-time position. I think I worked there for 5 or 6 years or 7 years. I worked there for a while. This was even after he no longer worked there. I was able to stand on my own 2 feet and maintain my role because I was able to pay attention to what was needed, and I was able to execute. Because remember, I may not be much of a planner, but I sure can execute other people's vision. And when you are employed by someone, it's all about their vision, not necessarily yours. Now, it's a little bit of what you want to do with the company while you're there, but the overall arching vision isn't coming from a line employee, I'm going to say. So as I learned how to stand on my own 2 feet, I lost my job. I'm just getting in my, my groove, and I lost my job. But before I lost my job, I paid attention to the signs. They were outsourced. We had insourced IT, and that's how I got a job there. And then they were outsourcing it again. But the signs were on the wall that they were about to outsource. So I began interviewing. So the nice thing about that was I was interviewing way before I lost my job. So I was able to get a lot of interview practice in while I was working. So that is a tip that I'm always going to have for someone. Don't always be so comfortable where you are that you don't take the time to see what else is out there. You may not really want another job. You may be very comfortable and like it, but being comfortable is the enemy of progress, And so you want to see what you're worth by going out there and taking a look. So I was interviewing. I hadn't gotten a job, but the interviews were going pretty well. I was understanding the interview questions because remember, I had never really interviewed in IT before. I started my job as an intern, and it just developed into a full-time role. So I had not interviewed in IT, so I really needed to practice. So I went out there and I practiced. So when I was let go, of course, my feelings were hurt because I had never been let go before, but it was okay because I knew that in the end, everything would be okay. And I had been doing interviews anyway. So I was unemployed for, I'm going to say, about 9 months. And in that 9 months, me and my mother, we traveled. I had a good time. I enjoyed not working. But I also continued to interview. But in those 9 months, it wasn't that easy to get a job. Most people liked what I was saying, but I wasn't a good fit for the roles that they have. And that was like the growing theme was, oh, you're a wonderful person. We love your attitude. We love, what you represent, but you're not a good fit for this role. But when we have another role, or we do have another role coming up, we're going to give you a call. Now, I had heard this several times. I was over it. And I talked to my son's dad, and he saw that I was having trouble getting a job. And I'm going to tell you, he probably had a vested interest in me getting a job because we didn't go to court for our child support agreement, our custody agreement. We wrote it ourselves. The amount of money he paid me was half the amount that the state of Texas would have awarded me. But I wasn't trying to take the man to the bank, So I was fine with our agreement. But if I stayed unemployed, he probably was thinking, how was she going to continue to pay her bills and not ask me for more money? So he had a vested interest in helping me to find employment. And so he kept, like I've told you the story before, putting my resume back out there, and HP called. And when I talked to, I think it was somebody high up over the whole department. I don't know if it was director or VP, but it was someone like that, and or a lower level VP. They said again, oh, it sounds like you'll be a good fit for another job. But guess what? They were telling me the truth. I got a call back from the manager, the person who's going to be my manager, to do an interview. We really didn't interview. I'm telling you, me and that lady just talked and laughed on the phone because the VP had already told her I was a good fit, so she didn't really interview me, which I'm glad about because I'm tired at this point of interviewing. So we just kind of laughed and talked a little bit about the role, and she enjoyed talking to me and said, well, when can you start? So I started working for, HP, and I worked from home, and I did that for almost a year until I got the role that I'm in now, where I am, and it's a direct hire role here in Houston. I was actually a contractor when I was at HP, so I felt like at any moment I could not have a job. So while I was there, I was looking for work. I didn't sit still, and I believe the name HP is what got me the job where I am today. But I made the choice not to be complacent. So a lot of people like to think that life throws you curveballs. Yes, it does. But it's what you do with those curveballs that matter. And for me, I lost that first job, had never interviewed before, but I saw the writing on the wall. So my choice was to go and look for work. Knowing that I probably wouldn't get any of the jobs, it didn't matter. It was just about the practice. Then I actually did get laid off, and I really needed to look. I looked and I got discouraged, but I was open with my son's dad and told him what was going on, and he offered help, and I chose to accept his help. And his help, again, opened up another door. Now, it was my resume that got me the looky-see, but he knew the technique of taking the resume down and putting it back up on the job site, taking it down, putting it back up, because it looks like it's a fresh resume, and so the recruiters go for the fresh resumes first. And it's like I get calls now. My resume is still listed on the job board. I keep it up there, and I update it every now and then with anything new that I've done. And I still get calls today for jobs. And I haven't even refreshed the thing. I haven't refreshed it because I'm really not looking for work. So if I refresh it, they're going to call a lot. And I don't want that many emails and that many phone calls. But in the event I decide I want to do something different, I have the ability to be able to go and do that, but that's my choice. Right now, I'm choosing to stay comfortable where I'm working and continuing to invest time in DawnDares2Dream, because my job, there's a very good work-life balance. When my son was having issues in school and issues at daycare, and I needed to go get him, my boss was like, go do what you need to do. You can't buy that type of loyalty or respect or care. But that showed me that he cared. So I'm still there now. I don't have the same issues that I had before, but that impressed me is what I'm going to say. It's like, where I work, we're kind of sort of like a family, but not, because we are employed together somewhere, But anyway, so what I am saying is we always have choices, even with the curveballs. So the fact that I keep my resume out there now, when COVID hit, I was concerned, was I going to still be employed? Because so many people are losing their jobs. There's so many industries. People are just dropping like flies. So I asked my boss, I said, hey, I'm getting a lot of hits for contract work from home work. I need to know, am I going to be able to, are we on the chopping block to get cut, or are we one of the people who they're considering essential? What is going on? And come to find out, we were considered essential. And so therefore we were not going to lose our jobs. And I'm talking about the whole department, not just me. But I was prepared because my resume is always out there. So you have to make those right choices for your life that are going to lead you to the place where you need to be. Because the place where I am right now is being able to invest my time in DawnDares2Dream. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm not sure if it's the next video, but it may be the last video of this series, because everything that I have done has lined me up for where I am today to be able to pour into my dreamers and to take the time to have the peace and the calm to think and focus on what you guys need and the messages that I'm going to present and send. If I didn't have the job that I have, I may not be able to do that. But the choices that I've made have brought me here to this point in my life. So what choices are you making in your life today that are setting you up to do what you really want to do in the future? If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Also remember that there's a share button down there with an arrow. Click on that share button, share this to your social media platform like Facebook. Leave me a comment. I'll definitely get back to you as soon as possible. My face is going to be up here in a circle. So remember to click on my face, select the gray bell, select all. That way you'll be subscribed to my channel and you'll be notified to all the new content I place up here to YouTube. I'm also going to place over here 2 series, the Taking Responsibility for Your Life series. That was the previous series that I did. And I'm going to place the link for this series as well. because I'm quite sure some of you may have missed some videos. So just click on that. You have the power to change your life. Click on that and go back and watch any of the videos that you've missed. So thank you for hanging out with me today. I love hanging out with my dreamers. Have a great day, dreamers.